SUI has had a massive run over the last couple of months, and airdrops are just not stopping. We have 3 new airdrop claims for you today on SUI, as well as other airdrop claims on other ecosystems, some Solana, Sonic news, and more. So let's get started immediately. First of all, we have Kriya, which is one of the best places to swap tokens on SUI network, and they have just released another 10 million Maya points that were for SUI wallet users. And if you have participated in SUI ecosystem, you may have received some of these Maya. Most importantly, the original plan of January 10th for the final date for when you can burn your Maya to get Kriya airdrop has been extended until January 17th, which means that you have a couple more days to accumulate points and get a potentially very, very good airdrop, because this is one of the very, very few projects which actually has very, very generous tokenomics. So Kriya DEX tokenomics is going to be total supply of 100 million, and the initial airdrop is going to be 50%, which is unheardly huge amount of tokens, right? Because Hyperliquid, for example, was 31%, and this is 50%. So we might actually have a very, very nice surprise from Kriya if it actually does a good delivery on when the airdrop actually comes. And if you want to get some final few exposures to Kriya Finance before their initial airdrop, you can always take a look at deep SUI pairs on their DEX. This has been an absolutely amazing pair, because last time we covered this was around 900% APY. Still, triple digits is amazing. It has total value locked of almost 4 million. So it's not like it's a small pool. So it has unreal amounts of APRs. Just one thing to note is that you might get slightly cooked by impermanent loss, because both SUI and Deep, well, they're both performing incredibly well. Deep is running much harder than SUI in the last couple of weeks. So maybe if you're going to be pairing these two together, it's probably a decent idea to be maybe slightly more exposed to Deep, so that maybe you have like 3 quarters in Deep and 1 quarter in SUI, so that once Deep continues to outperform SUI, you are selling it at a higher price, potentially to mitigate your impermanent loss. Because if you just put 50-50, then most of your Deep will turn into SUI, and then you might just get out of range a lot easier. And this is what this means in practice. So instead of just putting a 50-50% split between SUI and Deep, you can actually narrow your price to be more interested into the price appreciation of Deep. This would mean that you are going to need to deposit a slightly higher amount of Deep, so that as the price moves from current price, which is of course here, then as it moves up, then you're going to be selling your Deep into SUI at a higher price while accumulating triple digit APRs, in this case 266%. So you're going to need slightly higher amount of Deep at these current prices. Now let's move into the other airdrop on SUI, which is another DEX, Bluefin. They have finished their season 2 or second part of their airdrop. So if you have qualified for this one, make sure to claim your tokens. They will be in your SUI wallet. And finally, we have a slightly more speculative airdrop claim on SUI, which is from Anticore Finance. This has been vetted by some of the guys on X, but it is slightly still under the radar, so maybe don't just rush into this one immediately. But basically, if you've used Cetus, Aftermath, Turbos, FlowX, Kriya, or Bluefin, you might qualify for this airdrop. And if you want to stay on top of your SUI game, as well as many other DeFi ecosystems out there, we have a channel in our Discord specifically dedicated to SUI ecosystem, which discusses all of the latest trends and airdrop opportunities. Of course, we also talk about Meteora, which is another amazing opportunity for airdrop in 2025. This has so many setups, and I post all of the yields that we talk about, the best pairing and opportunity that will give you potentially double-digit daily APRs. That is actually possible with some of the stuff that we've discovered over the last couple of days. Even though it's a little more risky, it is definitely worth the risk, in my humble opinion. Of course, AI agents, this has been absolutely incredible. But again, more on this. For those of you who are actually serious about crypto and want to make it in 2025, being a part of a private community is just something that I always recommend, not just because we have personal interest in that, but basically because it's the best way to be in crypto during a bull market in particular. If this is something that you want to do for yourself, then join us in our subscriptions page, where we'll be in the link in the description of the video, because everything we always talk about in the videos are in the first link of the description of the video. You can see the plans, monthly, yearly, anything and everything you want. Finally, there's an NFT collection that will give you 10% of passive income based on the current value of ETH at the time of purchase. So if this is something that you want to join as well, this is managed by DeFi legend Chris. And there is also a free Telegram group where you can join and ask all the questions regarding the NFT collection. We will answer you in the most timely fashion possible. Now, regarding the SOL chain airdrop, it's coming on January 22nd. If you still haven't claimed your airdrop on mainnet and you want to do so on SOL layer 2, you will be able to do so as of January 22nd. Now, you're going to need some ETH on SOL chain if you don't still have it, but it is all explained in this blog post here. You will be doing this directly on their official website. Next, we have some super time-sensitive information that you might still have time for from Jumper and Vechain. There's an NFT collection called Steady Teddies, which are giving whitelist spots for higher-level Jumper users. So if you're level between 10 to 14 or 15 to 20, you're going to get either 5 or 8 whitelist spots. And then for all levels above 21, it's also, again, just 5 whitelist spots. Even levels 5 to 9 get 1 whitelist, but again, this is speculative, and usually these NFTs can do really, really well, as we've learned with Kaito, which is doing absolutely crazy. So you could have minted this for 0.1 ETH if you have participated in Kaito yapping, and now it's worth floor 6.7 ETH. So yeah, NFTs might just be back, and securing these whitelists when it's already possible can be incredibly, incredibly profitable. And quick look into Solana. Speaking of whitelists, if you're doing stuff on Eclipse, you might just qualify for the Neptune protocol whitelist. So make sure to go to their X and verify your wallet's eligibility with Eclipse activity. And another one that we have update for you from Rage Trade and Drift. If you're already trading on Drift, you may as well do so through Rage Trade now, because they have integrated Drift protocol as a part of their interface. Of course, Rage Trade was not the spectacular airdrop as many others have been, but it is just free money, so if you're already trading on Drift, may as well do so through Rage Trade interface. And before we wrap up with where the meta currently might be shifting in crypto in general, some honorable mentions with Hyperliquid. If you're still not bullish on Hyperliquid, you can just take a look at all of these ecosystems that are being built, all of these dApps that are being created on the blockchain. So this is going to be very, very, very bullish for 2025. Other ecosystem we're looking at is also Sonic. Maybe this is the one that's going to be on par as one of the top contenders for 2025, because there seems to be a lot of activity and some really serious DeFi people are starting to take notice, and there might be even a hackathon on Sonic Labs. There's been actually a lot of integration with AI agents on Sonic recently, so we might actually talk a little bit more about that later, but usually hackathons on blockchains are very, very bullish for the blockchain itself. And just something to put on your radar, the Sonic TVL just crossed 100 million, and a huge part of it is from Wagmi. This is being created from the guy behind, unfortunately, some of you will remember him from 2021 Time Wonderland Madness. So maybe he learned his lesson. Maybe this time is going to be different, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. This is going absolutely crazy. We might have to do a separate video on this later, but let me know if you want something like this in the future. And of course, last thing, we have Say. If you're bullish on Say, they have a huge list of Galaxy tasks that you want to do. And yeah, this is a bit tedious, but if you believe Say is going to do something, for example, Say airdrop for liquid staking was surprisingly good. Maybe this is something to keep an eye out on as well. And finally, where the crypto meta might be shifting in the next couple of weeks and months, there is an unpopular opinion from Roald Paul, which is one of the most famous macro investors of our time, very crypto friendly. And he's saying that he thinks that AI agents are actually mid-curve and only took off because nothing else was going on to amuse the chronic gamblers. He does, however, continue to say that Fartcoin is a brilliant meme and it's both left, mid, and right curve, saying he doesn't own any. So take this with a grain of salt. Maybe AI is not just everything it's putting out to be. Maybe it's overhyped already, but I'm personally still of belief we are in for a massive AI bull market. But if I'm wrong, and we might get something else to be the main narrative of 2025, then I do have to say that I kind of agree with Drake on this one, that gaming might actually be slightly undervalued at this point, and rotation into gaming and cult memes might actually be on the cards. Just take a look at what MLG and GG did in the last couple of days. It's absolutely crazy. We have about 3 billion gamers on the planet, give or take, and crypto and gaming are very, very interconnected, and it's going to take just one hit game to make this mainstream. So yeah, take this with a grain of salt. None of this is financial advice, but something to consider for the upcoming period. And that is a wrap for all the SUI claims, alpha, as well as other ecosystems, and where the meta might be heading next. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe with bell notifications on. Any questions or comments, I'm waiting for you in the comment section below. And if you're ready to take your crypto game to the next level, we're waiting for you in our Discord. Till next time, thanks for watching. Have an amazing day.